Hello everybody, we're getting ready to do lesson 11.5 of Algebra 1 Math, finding probabilities of dependent and independent events. That'll be part 1. Part 2 and 3 are available here. 11.5, here is our standard here for part 1. And we have a 40-point skill sheet here for classwork. And then a 0-point notebook guide. Teachers, here is your bell work for the day. Give your students about 5 minutes. Okay, welcome back. We're getting ready to do our solutions now for today's bell work. There is the solution for number 1. When probability A and probability B are added, the outcomes in the intersection of A and B are counted twice. So probability A plus probability B equals probability A or B plus probability A and B. So we get a little bit more that way by using these diagrams. Then here probability sum is not 7 equals 1 minus probability sum is 7 equals 1 minus 6 over 36, which equals 30 over 36 or 5 over 6, that it won't be 7. So here it would be. This is really interesting up here. So into our lesson, you found probabilities of compound events. You will examine independent and dependent events. So you can formulate strategies. Two events are independent events if the occurrence of one event does not affect the occurrence of the other. Two events are dependent if the occurrence of one does affect the occurrence of the other. Okay, example 1. Identify independent and dependent events. Jar contains red and blue marbles. You randomly choose a marble from the jar and you do not replace it. Then you randomly choose another marble. Tell whether the events are independent or dependent. Event A, the first marble you choose is red. Event B, the second marble you choose is blue. After you choose a red marble, fewer marbles remain in the jar. This affects the probability that the second marble is blue. Okay, into our first guided practice here. We have independent dependent events. Tell whether events are independent or dependent. So you choose a honey peanut bar first, you choose a chocolate chip bar second. So what do we have here? We have an energy bar and eat it, then you randomly choose another bar. So we have a box here of energy bars. Then students, this is yours here. Tell whether the events are dependent or independent. Number cube and flip a coin. You get a 4 and then you get tails. So that one's on you. Okay, you choose a honey peanut bar first. It would be a dependent. Event B would be dependent on what you choose the first time around. Okay, the probability that event B occurs given that event A has occurred is called the conditional probability of B given A, and is written probability of B given A. Note that A and B are independent events if and only if probability B equals probability B given A. Since the probability of event B does not depend on the occurrence of event A. So note that A and B are independent events if and only if probability B would equal probability B given A, since the probability of event B does not depend on the occurrence. Okay, so we have our classwork here, slide number 8, I think. Key concept: probabilities of independent and dependent events. So independent events, for two independent events A and B, the probability that both events occur is the product of the probabilities of the event. So probability A and B will be multiplied. Probability A and B. Events A and B are independent. So the probability that both events be the product of those two probabilities. Dependent events, for two dependent events A and B, the probability that both occur is the product of the probability of the first and the conditional probability of the second event given the first. So we have a conditional probability situation. Probability A and B would be probability A times probability B given A. Events A and B would be independent. The formulas for finding probabilities of independent and dependent events can be extended to events. So find a probability of independent events. A board game spinner divided into equal parts here. Find the probability that you get 25 on your first spin and 50 on your second. So in that case, let A get 25 on the first, let B get 50 on the second. Find the probability of each event, then multiply the probabilities. So probability A would be 2 out of 8. You get 25, you got 25 here, 25 here, 2 out of 8. And then the probability B would be 1 out of 8. 50 occurs once right here. So how would we calculate that situation? Probability A and B would be probability of A would be 2 out of 8 times probability B would be 1 out of 8 would be 2 out of 2 over 64 would be 0.031. The probability that you get 25 on your first and 50 on your second would be about 3.1%. Now we're going to do a guided practice here. Number 2. Students, this is yours, so pay attention here. Events A and B are independent. Find the missing probability. Probability A, probability B, probability A and B. Okay, what do we do here? So events A and B are independent. Find the missing probability. So we multiply them, and we get probability of 0.7 times